awesome record. Very good to follow. Give Blood, because cut from the same cloth in a way.
Yes, that they take the lyrics very seriously. They're like, they're talking about
expressive and emotional.
Yeah, but without being, what word do you use?
Without being
pretentious.
You over the head of it.
Yeah, without being pretentious.
I've never heard this.
Well, I think I told you like a month in advance, right?
Yeah.
I was like, you gotta listen to this record.
He's not allowed to listen to music at work.
That's true. That hurts.
Busy at all, so.
Yeah, I know. You've been very busy. I will say with this Faded Grey record, I fell in love with, and I still ride for side B. It's like side B of this record and on, and I think maybe the last song on side A, but that's like where it gets great. The first like 4 songs or whatever, it's like still nice hardcore, but they're like, for as much as I say I hate melodic hardcore, this is melodic hardcore. And it's like, it's kind of everything about hardcore that I don't like.
I think
the more and more I think about it, because like Lance has a very normal, shouty voice. It's not like a big risk-taking voice.
It's shouty, but each line ends with a almost sing element.
Yes.
Like he goes,
yes, and that's fucking, you're right, dude.
Yeah.
That's what makes it so good. You nailed it. But
the songs The Great Divide, The Emo Solution, and the title track, A Quiet Time for Desperation, they're in the middle.
I feel Quiet Time of Desperation is the first song on the second side, right?
And then
it takes off from there. And it's like,
but I like the last 2 songs on side A, like The Great Divide and The Emo Solution.
Yeah. We used this, so that's the song right before. That's the last song on the first side. We used to stand on the same side. Then we do. They do all the shit I hate. They do all the artificial harmonics. They do like all the octavey stuff on the verses. But for some reason, they're just like the one band that I love that does it. They're the, I don't know, they do everything perfect. It's like it's everything I don't like, but they do it and I like it. They're that great. I don't know. It's a weird record to describe. And then lyrically, just it feels so honest, and I don't know.
The lyrics are intelligent.
The lyrics, it's just, it's one step above being just like personal lyrics. I feel like personal lyrics is like, that's what you use as like those guys, that band, a bunch of nice guys.
Well,
that guy has personal lyrics. Like, his lyrics suck.
Well, the thing about this era of like early 2000s, a lot of the hardcore bands were writing songs about hardcore. Like the scene, because they'd gone, this is 2000, 2001. We'd all gone through the 90s where things splintered crazily. Lots of people left, lots of people, I don't want that kind of hardcore being played here, or this or that, all of these things. And there's almost like an element of someone who goes through all the shows like Lance does, or did, or does still, is like sit back and comment on what he's seen. Like, like you said, you were just commenting on those lyrics, like we used to stand on the same side, but now,
now this great divide.
But there's the element of like, that's what is actually kind of interesting about like 2000 era hardcore on Give Blood, on many records, on In Control records, is like we're commenting on the things we see in our own scene instead of more like what Greg was referencing earlier about, I want it to be outward against like more like overarching like oppressive structures and whatnot. And this is more like,
but he's not writing poetry like
no.
This is still like straightforward lyrics.
The straightforward lyrics, but they're varied on topic. Like
agreed. That's why this band is so good. Like it's just I don't know. It's everything a band should be in a little bit more.
Yeah, well,
I don't know.
He used to do a zine in the 90s called Help. Really cool zine. So when I heard that dude, and also part of the Indecision family type stuff. But so you're already interested in an Indecision record as it's getting put together. But when before I met Lance, I knew that it was the guy who did the zine, and he always was intelligent and expressive. And
he did a band before this as well.
Yes,
but I don't think he sang. Did he? He did.
Yeah, but this is what I was like. I'd heard, oh, this band's cool. Like Mandel told me all about it, and when I heard it, I was like, yeah, sign me up. This is fucking great. And kind of, it was referenced to me as being like Dag Nasty-ish. And
it's just because there's a little bit of melody, but it's not because
exactly.
There's no singing.
But to me, like, it doesn't really sound like Dag Nasty.
It doesn't sound anything like Dag Nasty. That's another cop out. Oh, yeah. If it's fast and there's a little melody, it's Dag Nasty.
Yeah, because he ends singy-ish lines. It's like the same way that somebody can be a fan of something, and the influence is there, but it doesn't sound like it at all. You know? So when I heard it sounded like Dag Nasty, I was pleasantly surprised that it sounded way different and was way more its own thing.
Yeah, so I would say for people, get this record or listen to it on Spotify or whatever. Start with the song Quiet Time of Desperation and listen to the record all the way out. It's one of my favorite pieces of music of any genre ever. I can't describe how much I love it. It was like this album, and there was like the Dillinger 4 record of like all the 7 inches they put together, and these were like my 2 albums I used to listen to all the time when it was like either the first or the second Tony Hawk came out on PlayStation, and I would just listen to them over and over and over. So this side B is like ridiculous.
I thought you were going to say while you were doing drives on tour, like these would be the go-to, like, I'm going to rock this, but you said that was Slayer.
We just listened to Blitz whole tour.
That's good.
And Blitz and Swingin' Utters were like the 2 mains.
The second Swingin' Utters album?
Actually, the second and the third, the red one also. Because we used to love that song, I know that sometime my time will come, crash and burn,
I like
everyone.
That wind spitting punk off the second one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, the second one is just it's a pretty near perfect record. Yeah. I know your history with them. You love them. Daniel was an early adopter of Swingin' Utters. Very early.
Yeah.
So yeah, that Faded Gray LP is the shit. Sounds best on gray vinyl. Might still be able to get the CD at indecisionrecords.com. So do it. Handle business. Final one is Greg.
So, and it's a good one to actually close out the O's decade, and that would be Trapped Under Ice, Secrets of the World. It's 2009 on Reaper Records.
Shout out Patrick Hitzel.
Absolutely.
It's our latest one, other than the second Retaliate record. But, yeah, because Terror Always the Hard Way, 06.
Yeah, it's on the very last year that we're talking about here.
So this is a band absolutely following up with an LP coming off the hype of just like a 7-inch that drops and is immediately a huge ripple effect right from the jump, because how can I say it? So it's like, this is a band from Baltimore, so they're taking heavy Baltimore sounding shit, Stout, Next Step Up, Gut Instinct, and then definitely brings in brings in that Crown of Thorns era, like the way like Ezak could do really like emotional type lyrics done over really aggressive, like violent sounding hardcore. So almost, it's funny. It's like how, you go back to Wes for American Nightmare with kind of those like looking inwards, kind of like dark state, mental vibes. Like this is like I feel like Crown of Thorns was able to, like, Isaac had a lot of lyrics that dealt with those types of themes. And
Well, he was just a bustling talent
yeah,
that would have like succeeded in any genre in those years, and just was in Crown
Yeah.
of Thorns.
yeah, but it just wasn't one of those like typical quote heavily quote this tough guy
Not at all.
sounding stuff.
Not at all.
And that's why I think Trapped in Rice is kind of important, because when terror hits, it's like it's hard, you know, and then No Warning, it's just like all about moshing. So, you know, heavy hardcore is just like all about moshing, hard, like strength, like everything. Not a lot of you know, looking inwards or kind of talking about some of these things.
But musically, could we say that this is the band that nails the bounce?
Absolutely.
Only second best to like. If Madball's the fucking band that nailed the bounce,
Yeah.
this is the band that comes the closest.
No Warning is
No.
they're coming after the No Warning.
Yeah,
thing, so.
but
But this band's better than No Warning.
no, but this is different. This is different than No Warning's take on bouncy shit, because this is more.
They're busting the whole song,
Yeah, this
and
is.
he has real legit flow.
Yeah, he's got
Well,
legit.
they reference themselves like at mosh parts and stuff. Like they call out.
That came.
Yeah.
That's on Big Kiss Goodnight, but a little later than this. But well, they have that it's, you get more of that Baltimore style bounce, which Baltimore is the influence for this band. So I remember they hit the West Coast for the first time. It was probably 2007 with Trash Talk, and at that time, like that kind of ceremony Trash Talk, like Trash Talk wasn't like doing the rap stuff yet, and like Ceremony wasn't Joy Division yet, and they had like they were both playing like their versions of kind of like more moshy power violence kind of sounding shit. And so Trapped Under Ice is with Trash Talk, and I'd never seen them, and like you could just immediately tell that you were watching something that was like kind of like very regional, but nothing wasn't being done anywhere at the time, because like I said, like heavier, moshier hardcore was like every band was still trying to sound like No Warning, unless you were, you know, Retaliate, which we've discussed earlier, which is the best.
No, thank you.
And it was still like, you know, terror type hard or more like metal influence stuff. So this is like heavier, bouncier shit, and immediately it's catching on with like a lot of kids.
Well, you've totally just completely explained it perfectly for me, because Baltimore hip hop around that time is bounce. Like it's its own thing, very different. Like Booty Basement was playing it, and you know Dimitri and Rob were playing like Baltimore stuff because it was so dance floor operating, you know. And then for them to be so influenced by that and bringing it to hardcore and developing that is that's
Yeah, and when
a light has gone on, you know.
another thing too, it's like when I first saw them, it's just like, oh no, these are like real like Baltimore dudes, you know. Like this is like, I'm not watching someone like cosplaying as like some, you know, New York hardcore like tough dude wigger guy. Like it's none of that. Like it's, you know, this is just them being them.
No gimmicks.
So I think it was just like the perfect time. And then that 7-inch Stay Cold, it's just, you know, fucking perfect. And it definitely
looks so cool too.
Looks so cool. Reaper absolutely crushed it. And they were just such a different take on that, like kind of hard.
This LP looks really cool too.
True, yeah. And I think
Especially with the
I want to say maybe
the title of the album looked in a, you know, much when you hear the title of the album, Secrets of the World, right? And then you see this old nautical style map. And you're like,
it reminds me of
what is out there?
I
It
wanna
reminds me of
say-
like one of those Pestilence records, like the third Pestilence
Yeah,
record.
I want to say Busky did the design work.
Super
on this,
cool.
maybe. But so shout out to Busky again. So this record comes out, and they already are just being built up from a 7-inch, and then they Reaper drops this one, and then it just
And it delivers on the LP. Like to
absolutely
be same scenario as No Warning, right? Like the 7 inches of shit. Everyone's super fired up, and the LP comes out and fucking delivers.
yeah. And this one, I want to say they might have had someone in the studio from Biohazard. It might have been not Billy Bio. It's what's the fucking dude that spins around constantly in a circle? Who plays guitar? Whatever. But
In Biohazard,
yeah,
it
and
is Billy Bio.
and no, it's not. It's not Billy Bio. It's the other guitar.
Unless
dude.
Harry Hazard.
The banner, the Billy Bio banner.
And I think they
If it's
also
not Billy Bio, it's got to be Harry Hazard.
they might have done this with Dijon.
Mike
too.
Dijon?
Yeah, which is another influence. Like back to
Huge, right? If you're going back to
Huge.
Crown of Thorns.
Yeah, I mean Dijon's influence on the playing, and I know Sam was definitely picking up on those. I don't know. I hear it more vocally and style wise more than I hear it like musically.
Well,
'Cause
no,
I still hear a lot of like heavy Baltimore bounce.
Yeah, but there's a lot of it musically also, just
Yeah,
because
true, yeah.
because even when they're doing the bounce stuff, they're not
There's little
they're not
chords.
they
passages,
fuck they
yeah.
fuck with like a little bit of the melody on it. Where like Madball when they do the bounce, it's all hard,
Yeah.
right?
No, you get more.
They fuck with like they'll knock a chord
And the pedal.
or like the ring
They
outs.
do
And
some like pedally type stuff too.
Yeah,
Right?
actually,
they definitely have a pedal.
we'll use the wah for this, but no other kind of pedal stuff. It was just straight guitar, just kind of maybe hitting chords
tuner?
more. A tuner, perhaps.
Okay.
Perhaps, but yeah, and then
Noise gate.
oh, definitely the
See?
standard.
We're
setup.
up to three pedals.
Pedal, yeah. No, when this came out,
Bicycle?
when this dropped, then they were like, dude, they were like the fucking band at that point. Like
They were the shit.
they were just and it was just crushing. And then it was just one of those bands, and for how heavy they were, like everybody got down to them, which is for being that like having just such like ass beater parts for a band, but then being able to like connect emotionally for any type
Yeah.
of kid that might be in the audience.
Yeah.
Like they just had it, like it just clicked with like everybody across the board. So, and it definitely set up Reaper in that era too. So then like Reaper started doing a lot of shit, and I
Had enough
think
money to put out the SoCal Slam 7-inch.
that is right, dude. Sorry, Kitzel. So yeah, and I feel like they brought definite bounce back they definitely brought the bounce, because I remember seeing after that run they did with like Trash Talk, I remember like kind of going to LA like hardcore shows, and like now I'm starting to hear more bands do like not like Madball style, but it just brought that like bouncy style shit really heavy. So it wasn't more like, hey, we're gonna rip off No Warning. Now it's like, oh, we're gonna rip off like Crown of Thorns. Or like, oh, now everyone's like into this kind of shit. Everyone's into like digging through all these like Baltimore sounding shit, more 90s New York hardcore sounding shit.
Yeah.
So it definitely brought that and started influencing like a lot of bands. And then, I mean, what do you get out of the end of TUI? You get fucking Turnstile, which is arguably probably the biggest hardcore band in the, I'd say, the 10s maybe at the end. They kind of just became that band after TUI stopped. So definitely sets the 10s up as far as sets the bar for definitely heavier sounding hardcore, and not on like it made it more accessible. Like it made it kind of like okay to play like heavy shit,
I think,
or start tuning your guitar lower and playing more moshier stuff, because that was still really just like associated with like more beat down sounding stuff, and just more what people would quote tough guy sounding music. So it definitely opened the door for like more people to be involved in that kind of style.
Well, around this time period, I think it's okay to try different things through the filter of hard music. Do you know what I mean? Like, lots of bands are taking the thing and doing their own spin on it. Is this around the time where that like video of him like throwing someone, or is this around that time?
Yeah,
I think that like
because they went over to Europe,
Yeah.
and some dude did that like horse collar type move and grabbed him and fucking like, dude, it was like ridiculously high stage. So Jurdis like fell, like fucking bashed his head on the ground and like
Jesus.
Well, then he got up and he was like all dazed, and people were just like pushing him, so he just like socked because he thought like people were like fighting him. And then I don't think like I just don't think like any Euro hardcore dudes just thought like some dude was gonna be like, what the fuck? No, I'm not down with that. I'm gonna punch you in the fucking face, because that's just on some Baltimore style. Like, well, not even Baltimore style. It's just like he got fucking thrown off the stage or grabbed by some dude, smacked his head on the fucking ground, gets up, there's a bunch of people like pushing him. So I don't know, he's probably got a gnarly punch, so he just hit some dude, and then the internet took over and
I didn't even never hear
cried
about
it. They definitely I think took a hit, which was weird.
But I think in a way it also gave them like they were on you know in that old adage of no press is bad press or whatever.
Yeah, they got kind of like on the internet, a lot of people like
oh, that's tough guy shit.
Yeah,
Fuck that,
so that might have been like a little dip for them, but
All right, well,
I just remember it being around the time, but also like while listening to this being like, I suppose indifferent, like just like
it's good, dude. It's fucking good.
not indifferent about the record, indifferent about the
Oh,
controversy.
you guys talking to him? Yeah, well,
just
just
kinda
that
like-
shit.
yeah, like I just thought, and then that's like another funny thing too, because it's like, why are you guys so upset that he punched somebody? It's like most of the shit that's going on at these shows is just people getting like laid out left and right,
Yeah.
moshing. Like, so you're mad that the singer like socked somebody, which is like another funny thing about this genre too, is the amount of people not paying attention to these like lyrics, like oh hey, I don't think Bulldoze are nice guys. Like have you been reading to like what the fuck they're saying? Like, did you go to their show? Like there's no cosplay shit here going on. So that's what it's funny. Like, this opened the door for like a lot of people to be like, oh, let's play heavy shit. Like, it's cool to like take these like really hard, aggressive, like Baltimore hardcore sounds and like made it really accessible, and then opened it up for like a lot of people to be like, yeah, I want to play heavy shit. And then, but that comes with like, a lot of anger, a lot of violence, and, people not realizing like that, yeah, you might be getting certain types of people that, are gnarly and just want to, definitely hurt others.
There's always someone bigger than you. Better watch out.
Exactly.
Let's wrap it up. Let's wrap this, dude. Let's
As we're just talking about that though, like the thing that happens around not this time, maybe a couple years after this, is something that I noticed that it became okay to be a dick at a hardcore show.
The emphasis on right around this time period too, the emphasis on the mosh, just
and the
like
crowd killing,
fucking goes,
all of that shit
goes crazy.
Fuck that.
It's not even about like, and then it's just kind of exclusive. Like, you had to be the youth crew band to still get like the sing along stuff, but everything else, it just became like horseshoes and just
well, we should let's talk about that.
Yeah,
if we'll do the tens. We don't have to do the records, but let's just have a talk about hardcore, man. What happened?
Yeah,
where it
not
went.
even just that, and what it meant to us.
But no, what I want to wrap on that. I think that was a great one because you really set it up nicely. And their next record is 2011, so it doesn't qualify for this. But do you guys like the first one or the second one better?
I like Big Kiss Goodnight better because that's when I think they branched out creatively, still were able to make it still like they didn't lose their identity or they didn't lose their roots.
They're still in the pocket.
They're still in the pocket.
It's just more catchy.
It's way more catchy, but that's also because you had Chad Gilbert from Newfound Glory producing it too. So it was able to like take that like real heaviness and like aggression, but provide that because he just kind of brought out more of that melody that was still kind of a little buried deep in there on Secrets.
Yeah.
That you had to be a real like nerd to kind of hear where they were going with or what they were doing.
Daniel, first record, second record.
I like the first 7-inch the best.
You would. Okay, I got a present for both of you guys. Couple.
Oh, thanks.
Oh yeah. It is a. I want to say that for someone else.
Damn, you doing some Nardwuar shit now? Where he's like always doing.
You know that one chicken spot you used that you went to when you were 7 years old?
Oh, someone's gonna give me something. Let me be a dick. Okay, first off, you guys will both appreciate that. I found that when I was going through a bunch of shit I'm trying to get rid of.
Yo. Yes.
That's a full-size True Blue poster.
That is sick.
True Blue poster.
So take back all the fucking bullshit you were talking. And then also, I got a LP, the Time and Pressure LP from Bert's label for both of you.
Excellent.
Fucking
Shout
awesome.
out Safe Inside.
Straight edge hardcore. Safe Inside Records.
Is this the band from St. Louis?
Yes, it is. Yeah, and then I don't know if you guys would like this one, you guys can have it. Otherwise, save it for someone else. But that's an original Insight poster, which I think is Victory Records #1.
I don't know. I've never heard Insight, so.
But I love that they're wearing matching Youth of Today t-shirts.
That guy's face.
In case you didn't get the idea yet.
This guy's wearing a Shades Apart shirt. I didn't realize Shades Apart was so early. Anyway, shout out to Safe Inside Records, Bert the Last,
Aaron Cooley.
Yeah, how buff was Don when you got that record right now? I'm just playing.
Not at all.
All right. Until next time. Anything else you want to say? That's what you want to say.
What is the long one?
Okay.
What is the long one that you can't stop?
I haven't hit any of these buttons just so people know, and I'm gonna delete them all.
No,
because I don't want to be a pod where it's like you keep hitting the fucking button. I don't want the
listener who has hung in so far to listen to this. There is a soundboard, and these are the buttons. Like this is me yelling, apparently. Ah! And then this is the Rick to Life button that we keep pressing, and they will all stay in.
Well, the better birthday. That's the good one. That's the good one.
What is that one?
It's this one.
Yeah,
it's just the outro. But I'd rather just Oh, you want to actually outro it and talk through it?
All right, we will see you later. Please listen to all episodes of 185 Miles South and join up for the Patreon. And, even if it's just a one-time donation.
Also consider listening to 400 Miles North, Daniel's new podcast, all Fugazi, all hours of the day. Embrace everyone else. Any band you never wanted to stage dive to.
I kind of want the slower one, dude.
I only got so many buttons, man. But anyway, wrap up the show. Thanks for listening, guys. Smash that Patreon, though.